Patrick Reeves. He says, given your knowledge of human psychology, what values, virtues, and principles would you instill in a child were you to raise one?
I have put zero thought into this, so I feel very unqualified to answer. I'm willing to go off the cuff, but
I thought a little bit about it. I actually bought a course on conscious parenting from Mind Valley.
why?
Because I wanted it, one, but I think I kind of knew that the content of the course was going to be about you, the parent, and not about necessarily this is how you raise your child, based on this particular individual. I forget her name. But she even says so. She has a handful of myths about parenting, and she says parenting is about the child.
Yeah.
It's like, no, parenting is about you getting out of the way. And she's got very radical stance compared to, especially when contrasted with modern day helicopter parenting.
Yeah.
Which is like, she talks to Vishen, who is the Mind Valley guy, and he's very proudly at one moment telling her, like, yeah, like when we get home, like we'll read three parts of the encyclopedia, and it's like our time together. It's like daddy time. It's like so good. She's like, does he like the encyclopedia? He's like, I don't know. We he spends it with me. It's like, sounds like this is for you to create the kid that you think you need to create, which of course no kid. It's like, daddy, like rather than this picture book, could we please dive into the encyclopedia today?
Well, unless you make it fun.
Well,
wasn't it Elon's kids where he totally homeschooled them, and they'll just randomly be like, I want to take apart a car.
Absolutely.
He goes, okay, sure, we'll buy a car and we'll take it apart with hammers and wrenches.
And so the question that she asks him is, have you set up a reward structure in his life whereby the way that he knows he can get your attention and love is by expressing interest in these things?
Yeah.
Right? Or is your love unconditional and this is a genuine interest of his? And upon reflection, he says, no, like I totally rewarded this, we have to, and he says now we play video games because he wants to play video games. And I think there's clearly, you can't go completely hands off because these little creatures will kill themselves if left to their own devices.
Kids really want to kill themselves. A lot of kids really want to die.
We watched last night's Dad Reflexes on Reddit.
Yeah, it's incredible.
These kids are just jumping off of cliffs and like trying to just bang heads against anything that they can find. Yeah. But I did find it a very interesting thing because I think part of what my initial unchecked impulse would be was to do everything that I did but better. Same. Right? And I would try to instill the value of honesty and I suppose care for other people, which does not come natural. And I'd have a guitar in the house and I'd have books in the house and those things would of course come through, but I would try to keep the list of things that I instilled as small as possible and really reflect, like, is this a good thing? Like, does my kid need to have the same political belief and like really know my political belief? Of course not. Like,
I can only think of three things, which is honesty, self-love, and the golden rule. Mm-hmm. That's what I would aim for. And I reserve the right to think much more thoughtfully about this. And now if I found out that the person I was seeing was pregnant, I would consume a lot of parenting books and videos because that's how I learn. That's how I've mastered anything. Yeah. So I'm very uneducated and I would be very educated by the time the child was born. But off the top of my head, I feel like, honesty, like you said, treating other people well, which I would say is just the golden rule, just empathy. So I guess honesty, empathy, and self-love. Those seem like the three I would aim for.
Yeah. And the other thing that she says is like, the best thing that and Gabor Mate says this, the best gift you can give a child is your own happiness. Mm-hmm. Because with children learn, you can try to instill values, but they're learning before they can speak and understand language, and they're learning your emotional states. And so if somebody got pregnant, I'd go on a crash course. I would try really, really hard to be like, okay, all the growth that I was supposed to do over the next 20 years, let's try to get as much as we can in the next 9 or 10 months, because I think that's going to have a big impact. But take all of this. This is just
this is
hypothetical jibber jabber. Like, Ben and I have no idea what we're talking about. So definitely don't make any adjustments.
I was going to ask, when you bought a parenting course, do you think you had a little whoopsie daisy?
No, not at all. I enjoyed her speech.
She gave a TED Talk or something?
She talked to Vishen from Mind Valley about conscious parenting. She talked about things that some of which resonated with which I already believe, and some of them pushed it. And that's exactly the type of stuff that I try finding.
Just seeing if you got 2 months into your 9-month sprint and then found out you weren't a dad.
No,
if
not
I
at
ever
all.
found out, I would just do a crash course in these 6 books and these 2 courses, hypothetically.
Hypothetically speaking, no scares anytime recently. It's been a long time. When I was 24, there was a scare.
Was there really? I don't know this.
Yeah, 24, 25.
You thought you had a pregnant lady?
It was not that. It was like 10 or 12 days. But she was. You could like set a clock normally with her by when she did. And
Random person or someone you're dating?
it was Jessie.
Okay.
Yeah. So not random. For those of you who don't know who this is.
Yeah. It was a girlfriend at the
Yeah,
time. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was mildly scary, and then not after a handful of days.
You know what? I've never even had close to a scare.
Yeah. What else?
Big condom fan. Love them.
Okay, so this is from
Justin, welcome to the show, Justin. We talk about a lot of weird stuff.